Let's talk about key site indicators and the most critical site indicators that you consider when you're evaluating potential sites.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to the point that Sean made because I think it's brilliant. I think the analogy is spot on. And he mentioned the term gold rush. That's exactly what it is. And it's not just for data centers. It is when he's talking about a gold rush, it's a gold rush for sites, for viable, good sites that what Mikey just said, speed kills, right? Speed is the name of the game. Who can get to the sites the fastest? That was the same way with the gold rush, right? Hiking up over Chilkoot Pass. And if you don't know anything, Google it. It's really cool, awesome images. But what people were doing is they were just running into the gold fields, just grabbing anything they could find. It was a huge land rush. And what we've seen on LandGate side, because of our marketplace and the analytics that we run, it's not that dissimilar to what is going on now. If you don't have applicable data, if you don't have all of that stuff up front that Ali and Mikey were talking about, you're really just staking a claim on land because it's the piece that you could find, right? You're trying to find something close to a substation or interconnection or transmission line, and it's a big piece of property and you got it cheap. It could be completely unviable. There might not be anything there at all. So LandGate's perspective, how we see the same thing with data centers, EV charging stations, solar sites, and that can be behind the meter, that can be utility scale. We see the same problem, the same bottleneck across all of these different energy reliant verticals, and it's the sites. How can you find the sites before your competitor does? So when we look at it, and I think we look at it from a little different perspective, we're not going out there trying to make a claim in the gold rush. We are the shop in town that's selling a pickaxe and selling a map of the claim. We're selling tools for folks to be able to make good decisions, and that's kind of what we see. So when we look at the site selection protocol, when we go through our algorithms, what we do is we'll look at, okay, start the basics. Where does the land exist? Ali touched on it. Those are mostly rural areas where you have larger parcels. But where do you have land? Where do you have buildable acreage? And we run those analytics very, very quickly, FEMA flood zones, topography, but then also the interconnection is critical. It's great to show a substation. Anybody can go download a shapefile and show where substations are. But how deep is the interconnection queue, and what are the projects in that queue? What are who owns them? What's the size? So now you're starting to dig in. Like you said, speed kills right away in understanding, is this a substation that can actually work? Then you start digging in a little bit deeper. What's the pricing at that site? What's the variability? What do you think we're going to be buying power or selling power for? And then the keystone, and Ali touched on this, what is the capacity, right? What is the amount of electrons that can go into that site or come out of that site? And that's taken us a lot of time, a lot of money to develop, but we have that. So that's, like I said, going back to my first point, is Sean's analogy is perfect. It is a gold rush. It's a land rush. And the people who have the information and have that data available up front are the ones that they're going to win. Those are the ones who are going to find the best sites.